Second is the pharmacotherapy. Third is the dosage form development. And sorry. Then there is the nation building. And lastly, the fifth stream is the advanced student directed integrated practicum. These streams are not isolated blocks. They rather run longitudinally throughout the program, thereby allowing knowledge and skills to spiral and deepen as the student progresses through his or her degree program. This essentially means that professional values such as research, ethics, and clinical reasoning all are embedded, and not only embedded but reinforced also across the 5 years degree program. So I'm sharing this upfront because throughout this lecture, I'll be referencing this and trying to align it with AI and how it can be aligned with the stream-based framework that we follow at Shifa for the last 5 years. And whether you're familiar with our model or not, this background will obviously help you to make sense of how AI can enrich pharmacy education without actually requiring a curriculum overall. So the buzzword today for this whole topic would be we don't require a curriculum overall for integrating AI into the pharmacy curriculum. Um, just to break down the title, the AI integrated pharmacy education. So what does AI integration mean? It's not about replacing teachers, academicians, educators, be it the basic sciences teachers or the clinical faculty, but it's rather about augmenting how we teach, assess, engage the students in the learning process and support their learning. And the rest of the part is future ready professional. So what is a future ready professional? The goal isn't just digital literacy, it's about preparing the pharmacy graduate to thrive in the evolving and AI-enabled healthcare system that is currently in progress, and we are all a witness to it right now. So healthcare landscapes change very rapidly. For example, drug discovery pipelines are now AI supported. Telepharmacy is a not a new field, but now it has been integrated with AI-enabled tools, which probably enables it to make a clinical decision support system. Um, so, to add a rhetorical question, uh, what if I told you that AI can help design personalized dosage forms, or even predict which patient is at a risk of medication, or point out ADR at an appropriate time. So these are all the questions that we need to understand before we start with this presentation. So the objectives as an educator, practitioner, and student of pharmacy, we are at a threshold of paradigm shift, one where AI is no longer the future, it's the present. Secondly, AI tools are helping researchers, academicians, and even students to accelerate drug discovery, supporting clinical pharmacists in choosing optimal treatment plans, and even simulating real life patient encounters for our students. So, what does that all mean for the education part, especially related to pharmacy? So it simply means that education must also evolve. It's very simple. So staying away from it, declaring it as something that will make the student overly dependent upon it, that's not the solution. And that is what we'll go throughout the whole lecture. So with that, let's look at what we'll cover today. So first of all, we'll try to understand why AI matters in pharmacy education, not just because it's trending, but because the pharmacy profession itself is evolving. And as AI is changing in healthcare, our student needs to be ready. It's that simple. Secondly, we'll explore how to integrate AI across uh, the different streams of our curriculum. So whether it's dosage form development, whether it's clinical pharmacy, or it's professional practice or integrated practicum, we'll try to see how we can map or integrate artificial intelligence to what we already teach, and by modifying the ways of how we teach and modifying the ways how we assess. So that takes me to the third objective, that we'll address the teaching and assessment part as well, along with the faculty development part as well. So if AI is used as a co-pilot for the students, it must also be used as a co-pilot for the educators as well. And finally, we will look at some of the global and local institutional examples, some big names in academia, and see how those institutions are already doing that and have become a part of this paradigm shift. So these objectives are already grounded in the broader program educational objectives, we call it PEOs, that we particularly follow and incorporate in the curriculum that is adopted in Shifa. So if I have my students with me over here, they can go back to their portfolios and have a look at the program educational objective number 3, 5, and 6. They very well reflect our commitment to producing not only competent pharmacists, but visionary and current ones, especially when it comes to integrate AI with it. So within this roadmap in mind, with the four objectives, let's begin with the first one. So first is the rational. So one of the reason to consider artificial intelligence in pharmacy education is very simple. The profession itself is changing. So today's pharmacists are no longer limited to dispensing medications and looking after charts. They're probably more involved in drug design. They're involved in patient care, uh, detailed patient care, advanced patient care, clinical monitoring, ADR monitoring, adverse therapeutic optimizations. So all of which are now being impacted by AI, and I'll show you in the later slides. So, for example, if we consider drug discovery, so tools, there are many tools. The tools that I have mentioned here in different slides, this is not an exhaustive list. There are many, many tools now, but these are some of the tools that I have witnessed using it myself for teaching or for my own understanding. So for artificial intelligence in drug discovery, for example, there are tools like Atomwise and DeepMind's AlphaFold. They are accelerating identification of drug targets and even molecular structures, large molecular structure. We talk about telepharmacy, so AI is assisting in remote medication counseling and monitoring. Precision medicine is a buzzword nowadays, and a lot of research is being done on it. So, artificial intelligence uses genomic and phenotypic data to recommend personalized treatments. So, all these are things that are going on in the actual professional field towards drug development, towards better providing better clinical care, towards providing personalized medicine. So these all ultimately need to be tied back to our curriculum. So student needs to learn how to think with AI, not just memorize drugs the way we did in our time. So similarly, in a clinical setting, for example, AI supports pharmacists by, say, for example, suggesting dosage adjustments. They can predict adverse events. They can probably flag different drug interactions. So it is being embedded into the clinical decision support system, the CDSS. There are a lot of formulation softwares where prediction of optimal release profiles is being done by AI. So that doesn't mean, and I say this with a word of caution, that the pharmacist role is going to be replaced. No, that would not happen, but it would definitely be redefined. So the time comes, if we don't redefine our strategies, starting from the grassroots level, that is academics, to train the students to come up to that point, we would not be able to redefine how we work and we teach and we produce graduates, and then in turn those graduates go on and serve in the professional community. So they must know, our students must know how to question, how to verify, and how to ethically interpret the recommendations or output of the AI tool. So our graduates uh, must not only know what the algorithm says, the AI algorithm, but they should also know why it might be right or wrong, and specifically in that specific clinical context. So globally also we are seeing a shift. The World Economic Forum in 2023 has declared AI literacy as one of the top 10 skills needed across all the industries, and healthcare industry is number one on the list. So this, what does this mean? This means pharmacy student must graduate, I call it AI aware, AI critical, and AI ethical, right? So AI literacy is basically now becoming a global expectation. So in our curriculum, there is a stream called nation building. So we need to tie all this concept with the broader nation building stream that emphasizes on ethical, critical, and socially responsible pharmacists that align well with the AI literacy. By the way, do you know in 2020, or I guess in late 2019, I don't remember exactly, it took researchers nearly a year, up till late 2019 or early 2020. It took researchers nearly a year to design and approve a formulation. But with AI guided screening, Paxlovid, this is a drug marketed by Pfizer. It took weeks for optimization. If I remember correctly, it took hardly 6 or 7 weeks for its complete optimization compared to where it takes 12 to somewhere around 16 months to do so. So this was all possible because of the AI tools for designing and approving a formulation that they used. And this space of pharmacy is not anymore a linear progression, it's exponential. So until and unless we don't incorporate all this in our curriculum, we would be left behind exponentially as well. So how do we map our streams, our curriculum? So uh, with AI, so people who have joined us from outside the institution, it's not a problem if you're following a conventional curriculum, because these streams have been, if you look at them very carefully, these streams all talk about the curriculum that is already being taught at the conventional level as well. So we've just divided it into, I mean, not divided it, you can say we have categorized it, the content around these streams. So, for example, we have pharmacotherapy, where we talk about pharmacology and subjects like clinical pharmacy and so on. We have formulation development, where we teach pharmaceutics, industrial pharmacy, and subjects like dosage form design. And then we have a nation building stream where we teach communication skills, entrepreneurship, projects, and so on and so forth. Then there is the advanced integration and independent practice, where students get hands-on training with actual in a actual hospital and clinical setting. So how do we integrate? So uh, since we have established that AI integration is essential, so we'll just have a brief look on how we can integrate it. So for example, in the pharmacotherapy stream, we're already training students in system-based clinical reasoning, right? So what if we add AI-powered drug interaction simulations to this? So student would be probably be able to assess AI recommendations. And what about if he or she is able to compare those AI recommendations with the standard national or international guidelines that we have? This, to me, is a brilliant way of teaching, a brilliant opportunity to teach critical AI literacy, right? So system-based approach to therapeutic planning. So we have CDSS software, we have drug interaction alerts, we have adverse drug reaction predictions. There are many tools, a few of them are named here. The very popular one, like the IBM Watson for oncology, up to date, has recently come up with their advanced AI modules. It's an excellent tool. So, an integration idea of how we can do it in the pharmacotherapy stream, maybe a case-based learning, where students might evaluate AI suggested therapies and then be able to critique their validity. Similarly, we have in next the formulation development stream. So that is basically the synthetic approach to dosage optimization. So what could be the role of AI over here? Probably predictive modeling for dissolution, disintegration, for excipient compatibility, for probably controlled release kinetics. So there are again many tools, the QSAR model, there are the DOE, the design of experiments algorithms. So how can you integrate this into the formulation development streams for all the subjects that you teach in formulation development? Probably we can ask a student to input variables, for example, disintegration time, the composition of the environment around it, and so on and so forth. And then simulate the output of the formulation, right? They can change the excipients, the quantity of the excipients, the ratio of the excipients, and experiment with it. Similarly, we have the nation building stream. So that basically covers the behavioral and professional ethics and the digital literacy and leadership part of the curriculum. So how can AI play a role in that? Probably there can be many ethical implications of data sets that are biased. There we can be teaching topics like digital professionalism, confidentiality in large language models, etc. So what could be the activities? Say, for example, we can have debates, we can have short group or large group discussions on should AI decide medication eligibility. This is just one example. Or we can have another example might be we can have a case-based ethics workshop on patient counseling. You can use ChatGPT even for different output comparisons and guide the students on how to debate and how to reach to a conclusion. Uh, Perplexity is another tool which is very good for critical thinking. It talks to you, it gives you ideas and makes the output even much better. Next stream is advanced integration. So it's basically about immersive exposure to complex health systems. So what's the role of AI in it? Probably simulations of healthcare systems using analytics, predictive analytics, or multidisciplinary decision making. So one of the very potent tools for this are SIMX and Body Interact. And even if you don't use those tools, you can have a real world public data set analyzed with artificial intelligence. That is another way to go about it. So how can it be integrated? It can be a large group discussion. It can be a project-based module where students analyze case scenarios with given a data set with AI outputs, and then they present rationales to it and refine that output. So that's about the advanced integration. So then there is the independent practice. Now, this is the most important part because this is where the student is intended to graduate and practice independently and go into the market and prove himself and be an ambassador of this curriculum as well, and the teacher and the institution where it was trained. So how AI can play a role now, this should be in a manner like bridging between the final years of his study at the institution to bridging with the professional environment, the clinical setting. So use of virtual standardized patients, AI in pharmacovigilance, pharmacy management softwares, embedded with AI alerts. So these things should be exposed or can be exposed to a student to make him practice ready, right? So integration ideas could be probably to evaluate how these AI tools are used in hospital pharmacy settings, clinical pharmacy settings, especially during clerkship, and then ask the student to write a reflective essay on it, to present on his learning experience in a large group setting. There can be so many ways. So the key message here is that we don't need a new curriculum. We just need to enhance the one we already have. Either it is the conventional curriculum or it's the one that we're teaching here at Shifa, the integrated curriculum. It doesn't matter. We just need to enhance the curriculum with tools that reflect tomorrow's pharmacy practice that is evolving very exponentially. So we're not going to reinvent the curriculum. We're evolving it using tools that reflect our students' future work environments, right? So when I talk about future work environments, it means essentially that your coordination with the future work environment actually, either be it an industry, be it a hospital, clinical, marketing, whatever field it is, regulatory affairs, that should be very strong and very critical of how they are using AI in their respective domains. So mapping of AI, I just showed you among different streams very broadly. It is a spiral system and it is not such a big of a deal. Secondly, AI, we need to understand that it is no more something extra. It's complementary and it's absolutely necessary for achieving any program educational outcomes and program intended learning outcomes. So integration can happen without a overall of the curriculum, and it can be aligned very easily with with the existing learning outcomes and modules. And this is the takeaway for this mapping part. Okay, then we have once you're done with the mapping of the curriculum of where what tools would be used, the second part comes with the teaching and delivery part, and then we'll move towards the assessment part as well. So I don't call it AI embedded teaching and delivery. Please note, I've written it AI enhanced teaching and delivery because I think that teaching and delivery AI acts as a co-pilot, as a facilitator to enhance the teaching and delivery. So this is where we talk about why and where of AI integration to how it can enhance our actual teaching and content delivery. So first, we have AI powered content generators. We have ChatGPT, we have Perplexity, we have Google Gemini, and there are so many other tools as well. These tools play a very good role to summarize, for example, the mechanism of action. They can create a structured counseling script. Okay, they can explain a topic and they can explain a topic in different levels of complexity. Say, for example, for example, hepatic metabolism is a topic, right? So it has different levels. These tools can explain it at various level of complexity. So as teachers, this basically gives us incredible flexibility of how we can co-create learning content in seconds, minutes, and then not only that, but to customize it to the learner needs as well. So this is very important, especially when we have a large group setting of 100 students. And even if you break it down to small groups of 20s, 25s, even that is a challenge for a single facilitator, I think, to have a customized learning environment for those 100 or 20 to 25 students. So uh, by using these tools, you can generate lecture outlines, case studies, drug monographs. You can even make MCQs out of it. Can translate complex topics to different levels from year one to year five. You can offer alternate explanations for concepts that are difficult to understand or are more probably misunderstood. So you can make case vignettes patient counseling scripts and have students critique them for their accuracy, for their ethics, for their outcome. So this is how you can integrate, and this basically gives a mindset to the student to think, to critically evaluate, to critique on content. Okay. Then second, we have virtual simulations as a AI enhanced teaching and delivery method. So virtual simulations, there are many platforms. Again, I've highlighted two or three. Body Interact is one, SimX is one, PharmaSim is there. So just imagine students making real-time decisions with a virtual patient. Say, for example, in a very sensitive setting like an intensive care unit, an ICU. So just think about the student can experiment with different, I mean, choosing different antibiotics. He can observe the outcomes. He can be giving life-saving medications and looking at the effects of it. So learning through simulation-based feedback is probably one of the best ways of learning. So these experiences, they're all very engaging. They're playful, they're immersive, and they're excellent for bridging theory with practice. So, this is also very important in scenarios where you want to stimulate a rare condition, right? So rare conditions are usually not available for students to look at. So rare conditions, they can be ethically sensitive scenarios which are not available all the time and not possible in the real world placements. So these are a few opportunities that are possible because of the virtual simulation tools. So there are already high fidelity simulation, but AI has certainly reduced both the cost and the time for those high fidelity simulations because it is available on your cell phone. It's available as simple as on your laptop or computer screen. So I think it's a very good tool, especially for students to make decisions under a lot of pressure. Lastly, adaptive platforms. So like Newton with a K, Smart Sparrow, Squirrel AI. So these adaptive learning platforms, what are they? They basically adjust themselves to the pace of different students. Like they adjust themselves for the pace of individual students and their learning gaps, right? So I'll give an example of the software Newton. So what it does is it tries to determine which concept a student has mastered already and which concepts require further reinforcement. So that allows for personalized learning at scale. So now this was something that has previously been impossible in large pharmacy classes of hundreds and fifties and twenties and 25. So you have now tools which adapt to questions, content-based and learner performance. They continuously monitor right and wrong answers. They monitor the time you take to answer those questions. So these are the sort of things that helps the software to decide and tailor itself on the student's pace and learning gaps, right? So and in addition to that, it also provides real-time feedback. It guides the student towards mastery, and it can even track student fatigue. It can track the level of student engagement, and it can even look at the confusion patterns, which is very interesting. So a use case scenario for it can be used in formative assessments in live classes. It can be used during different quizzes as a part of the modules, and it's especially helpful in the pharmacotherapy stream and the formulation development stream. So you see, AI is not diminishing the role of the teacher. I think it's instead empowering us to become better facilitators. We can spend less time lecturing and more time guiding, questioning, and probably building the clinical judgment of the student, which is required at a clinical setting. So let me ask you this: what would happen? Just think about it. What would happen if a student could practice say, for example, 20 or 30 real-time scenarios before his OSCE exam, which is guided by these AI feedback tools. So just imagine the outcome of that in terms of his acing the exam, but it is not about acing the exam. It is rather the competency that he or she is going to develop while practicing those 20, 25, 30 real-time scenarios, guided and structured and provided real-time feedback and moving towards the mastery by that particular AI tool. So this is how we can and we should integrate such tools into the curriculum. So you can do all these things, these teaching strategies in flipped classroom models. You can use it embedded with AI tool to generate videos. You can have visual, you can have diagrams for chemical pathways or drug distribution graphs. There are so many things that come to my mind. And you can even have a differentiated instruction or for struggling students, you can help them while pushing advanced learner further by categorizing them on a linear pace. So that is one of the challenges that we face, that in a single class setting, there are all types of students, and I think everyone has a different pace of understanding things. So these AI tools and these teaching strategies, since they tailor themselves according to the student's pace, they are very good tools to keep everyone abreast with what is going on. So what we need to do is we need to start exploring, experimenting these tools for enhancing our teaching and delivery. They're not going to be replacing teachers. We should get this out of our system. This is the one and the foremost concern that teachers, and not only teachers, every profession has. So it amplifies only the reach and precision. So teaching can become more personalized, more scalable, more immersive with these AI tools. So we all need to adopt these tools and transform and maintain our while maintaining our teaching and learning decorum. So we've discussed the teaching and learning strategies. We've discussed how we can embed and integrate AI tools into the different sort of streams. Uh, the third most important thing is student engagement, because without student engagement, the essence of teaching is lost. I mean, there is no use if you're trying to embed certain tools and the student is disengaged. So it's not, teaching is never about just delivering the content. It's more about engaging the student. And when I say engaging, I mean active participation, right? And active participation in their own learning and context. So AI again offers a lot of pathways, and these three pathways that I mentioned here, one is gamification, other is the chatbots for FAQ support, and the live AI-driven case analysis. These are not exhaustive. There can be many other methods of student engagement. These came to my mind for the pharmacy curriculum, for the expectation that is from a pharmacist, but there can be many others. Okay, so first is the gamification using AI. So games are very entertaining, very engaging. We see our kids as well playing and stuck up with it for so many hours. So, what if you can have tools like Quizlet AI, Kahoot, and AdApp AI Quiz Builder, which can convert dry concepts, dry pharmacological pathways into fun activities, into competitive quizzes, right? So, if we can generate tired questions, moving from basic recall questions to complex clinical application questions. Similarly, we can adapt these based on student responses, again, keeping the challenges to promote the learning. So these are a few methods. We can have games, we can have flashcards, we can have different type of challenges, quizzes, and adaptive scoring and timely interaction sort of things. So these are actually used for teaching, and gamification is one of the most interactive and most efficient way of teaching and learning. Then you have chatbots, right? So what does chatbot do? So imagine a student who's struggling with the confusing concepts in pharmacology or pharmaceutics. Okay, so they can ask a course-specific chatbot a question, a clarification, and get an instant response, an instant explanation, not only a response, instant explanation with an example. And they can come to the class prepared with a deeper understanding and more deeper questions. And you see, so basically, you have a 24/7 chat, uh, digital assistant, a 24/7 teacher available with you, which can answer routine questions about content, about assessment, about references. It can reduce faculty burden. It can support student autonomy. It can bring the student prepared in the classroom. So many benefits out of using all this. So what can be a use case scenario for it? School, for example, student asks the chatbot a question like explain the difference between different order kinetics, for example, right? So you understand that differences between zero order, first order, and the complexities involved, the concepts, the examples, it can all be explained very beautifully by a chatbot for student coming well prepared into the class. But there is a word of caution with it that chatbots should not supplement the teacher, should not supplement the actual content that is provided to the learner. It should not replace it because human contact cannot be replaced by AI. So always frame these chatbots and assistants, do not make them authorities. And this needs to be embedded. I'll go and discuss this in the future slides as well. Thirdly, live AI-driven case analysis. So what does that mean? So we can project a pharmacy case. For example, you can ask Chat GPT for a clinical recommendation, and then have some students critique that output, right? So you can ask them, was the recommendation correct? Did it miss some patient specific factor? Do So all this sort of activity, this is called a live AI-driven case analysis. This can be done live in a class setting on a PowerPoint projector and ask ChatGPT different questions. The students can input, can have critique on that output, can input their questions. This would essentially foster critical thinking, ethics, and clinical and practical judgment. And this is exactly what our nation building stream and our pharmacotherapy streams aim to instill and have a properly designed program intended learning outcomes for them. So if it is achieved in such a manner, it's, I think, way much better than using a conventional student engagement method. Another case use can be a pharmacotherapy student can analyze a virtual patient with, for example, cardiac impairment or renal impairment, and AI can suggest a dosing pattern. And students can then sit in small groups or large groups and debate and discuss on the dosing suggestions provided by AI. So this is the sort of activities which inculcates critical thinking and value in the minds of the students, and not only on the students, the teachers as well. So the value is to promote critical appraisal, to promote active learning, and to promote peer-led teaching. So these are the three main concepts that we try to inculcate when we talk about student engagement. I'll repeat it. These are very important values for student engagement: critical appraisal, peer-led teaching, and active learning, right? So the beauty of this AI is that in all this engagement, it respects the student's curiosity. It would enable active participation. It would provide constant feedback. It would adaptively change to the response and ultimately would drive a peer-led learning model, an active learning model. So all these three concepts are very well augmented within the AI tool integration. So this basically, if I don't know if I have some teachers or academicians with me. We teach teaching philosophies. So there are three teaching philosophies for student engagement, and I think I need to mention them over here because they are philosophies which are aligned with more aligned with the AI tool integration. One is the constructivist learning. So students build knowledge through interaction, especially interaction through the AI tool. Other philosophy is autonomy and agency, where professional programs are very important. And third is the peer collaboration, where group challenges are done using AI, where AI can reinforce teamwork skills and other skills that we teach in the nation building. So these three teaching philosophies align very well with the integration of AI in student engagement. Uh, Now that we have discussed all the parts with the student engagement, the mapping of AI with the different streams, and what could be the teaching modalities. So the most important concept in this is faculty capacity building. So unless and until the faculty is not ready to adopt these skills and upskill themselves for incorporating AI, this is all futile, and gradually the system deteriorates. And so basically, not the AI not only works in education, but if the faculty is properly equipped, it is properly supported and properly empowered by the institution, that would be responsible for upskilling. So how can you upskill the faculty? There are many ways, but first of all, the faculty needs to be motivated by themselves for adopting this. One of the methods is what I'm doing right now, giving a lecture on how to do it and what is the importance and what's the rationale of it. That is very important, which makes the faculty think and wonder on that we actually do need to, or we'll be left behind. So what role can an institution play? Institution can arrange workshops, it can arrange short courses, can arrange short scoring or badging system, which is applicable in a lot of international universities nowadays. Workshops on prompt engineering, small workshops or tools on evaluating AI generating content, ethics of AI in education, can have small modules of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or up to 6 weeks on tools for AI integrated assessment, can have journal club meetings to demystify the use of AI. Because I deal with faculty all the time, and most of the time, they are very comfortable using AI, but they're not able to identify how can we use it for the benefit of the student in a structured and apt manner. So the this basically leads us towards the evolving role of a teacher as a facilitator who guides the student through AI outputs, as an evaluator who teaches the student how to critique, and most importantly, as a mentor who is responsible for modeling responsible, ethical, and value-based use of AI. So teacher also needs to recognize that their role is shifting from a simple content transmitter to a facilitator who is going to, and to an evaluator, and to a mentor who is going to teach ethics, look at the evaluation, look at the facilitation with while using tools of AI. So faculty motivation, as I stated earlier, is very important. We need to emphasize time saving benefits to the faculty. Uh, Time saving doesn't mean that faculty goes on home or at lunch breaks, but it means that AI can draft feedback more concurrently. It means that AI can make quizzes, can mark quizzes even, can suggest scaffolding. Similarly, academic integrity uh, and safe spaces for experimenting. These are the sort of things that institution or the head of departments or the deans need to inculcate in the faculty. Safe space is very important. Safe space strategy generally means that you provide a space and freedom for the faculty to experiment without the fear of failure. So this is very important. Then we also need to look at how academic integrity challenges are to be addressed because of the responsible use of AI. So it is not expected by the faculty to be AI experts overnight, but they should be at least willing to adopt these things and learn these things by institutional support. So it is not going to replace the teachers, it is going to support them. It is going to enhance their teaching and assessment modalities, and which means that the process would be more meaningful, and the student and educator and the teacher interaction would be more meaningful. So the role is evolving. For us, for academicians, I think the role has already evolved, and we need to catch pace with it and train ourselves on delivering learning designs, clinical mentorship, and ethical guidance. The last and very important part is, since we've discussed everything now a very touchy topic is assessments. Assessments essentially means examinations, which essentially means there are going to be marks, which essentially means there's going to be a lot of tension between teacher and students and a lot of grievances. So this is a very important area. So it's we in academia call assessment as a heartbeat of learning, right? So how does AI play a role? So AI offer lot of ways to enhance the assessment strategies as well in a more meaningful, timely, and student-centered manner. So we can start with the formative assessments with adaptive algorithms. So adaptive algorithms like those I discussed earlier, like Newton, they can tailor difficulty levels of quizzes or questions to each individual student's level of understanding. So instead of a one size fits all test, students receive questions that match their level of understanding, right? And apart from that, an immediate feedback is also provided by the tool. So that helps the student to learn faster, right? So similarly, in clinical evaluation, we have AI-assisted OSCE simulations, so in which AI is supporting the design of OSCEs using virtual patients we discussed earlier. So these simulations can be structured properly around a checklist that you might have in your curriculum, around a rubric, around different scenarios or themes that you have been teaching in your course. Uh, so, for example, managing, I can say, anticoagulant therapy to as simple as counseling an asthma patient, for example, right? So there can be different scenarios. So AI can even pre-score performance based on interaction logs, like I mentioned earlier, the time you interact with it, the time you take to answer the question. So there are so many algorithms that these tools have inbuilt with them. So, but having a word of caution, of course, final grading should always include human review. It cannot be left on AI. It is just to enhance the experience and make it easier for everyone, not only for the for the faculty, but for the students as well. And human review is also very important, especially when it comes to topics of ethics and other, when we talk about empathy, when we talk about tone, when we talk about patient and clinical ethics that are involved in different cases. So in such cases, human review is definitely very important and an integral part of it should be. So then we have auto-generated feedback. So perhaps this is one of the most exciting areas where AI generates automatic feedback. So for example, you give a student an essay, and after submitting an essay, the AI can provide personalized comments regarding that essay. It can highlight the strengths. It can suggest improvements in that. That essentially means that feedback is not delayed by weeks and months, and student also is supported in real time. Now, this is not only for the assessment part of for the teacher, for the faculty, but is also helpful for the student to modify, to align, to sharpen his skills on the uh, essay writing and critical thinking part. So together I mean with the student and the faculty, these sort of AI tools and innovation, they can help us move from assessment of learning to assessment for learning, right? So that would only be possible by using AI to promote growth and not just to assign grades, right? So I think the time is limited, so we'll just moving towards the final conclusion. So, having said all that, the most core and important part is that AI should be used responsibly. So, what does it mean when I say responsible use of AI? It does not only mean that a student gets an essay and he gets it written by AI and submitted. That is one aspect of responsible use. Responsible use includes ethical use of AI, it includes data biases that are there, it includes transparency, it includes privacy, data confidentiality, there are a lot of concepts into it, and they all should be taken into account by the faculty and the students. The students need to be gradually and but consistently taught about digital professionalism. Should be trained about how and what is critical artificial intelligence appraisal, the ethical decision making in algorithm led context. These are the concepts that need to be taught both to the faculty and then from the faculty to the students so that they can make proper use, a responsible use for AI. There are a lot of risks with using AI as well. The student needs to be, for example, taught if we say about privacy and data confidentiality. So a lot of time, especially in the advanced integrated practicum part, students might be inputting patient data into the AI tool. So students need to be taught that all data should be anonymized because it can and it should follow certain rules of the institution. So and so forth. There are a lot of things. There are racial uh, issues. There are ethnic underrepresentations in clinical data sets. So these all needs to be aptly taught to the students. So as a dean, I'm responsible for framing policies in the institution as well. So whenever I talk to my faculty about using AI, most of them tell me that if my student is using AI to, for example, generate a drug interaction report, very simple thing. So are they learning or are they outsourcing it, right? So these are the things, sorry, which should be answered through academic integrity policies that very clearly speak about how to use AI in coursework. These are the policies that need to be designed. That is the work to be done by the university, by the faculty to ensure that everyone adheres to the responsible use of AI. So students, in a nutshell, we need to emphasize student readiness as ethical professional. We need to position ourselves. faculty as gatekeepers of uh, responsible use of these tools, and we need to reassure each other and rest of the faculty as well that we don't have to say yes or no to an AI. We have to say yes or no with wisdom, right? So when I say with wisdom, it means that after critical evaluation. So what are the global practices? These are just a few names. So University College of London, UCL, they are already using tools to teach their pharmacy students. So the tool that they are using in the theme of AI and drug discovery training. So what they do is they teach students on learning how AI predict drug interactions, binding with molecular sites, formulation outcomes. So they use DeepChem as a tool. It helps a student bridge the pharmacological and computational modeling aspect with each other. It ties, if we talk about our curriculum, our stream, it is directly in relation with the formulation development stream. It can tie up very easily, and we can be using that as well. Similarly, in John Hopkins, AI is used to train students in pharmacovigilance, and they learn how different algorithms in pharmacovigilance they sift through patient record and data of thousands of patients, millions of patients, and detect signals of ADR, right? So then they teach their students to critique upon it. And since US is a huge population, there are many factors. The data is biased. There are North Americans, South Americans, there are immigrants, and so on and so forth. So they teach students how to critique and not just accept what the algorithm has told them to do. So this is the responsible, this also inculcates responsible use of AI as well. So this kind of AI plus responsible use plus ethics, dual triplet training, this fits also well with our pharmacotherapy stream and probably the advanced integrated stream as well. Few other examples which are not mentioned here is the Stanford Medicine. They have a human-centered AI in clinical practice course. A lot of people attend it. It's free. It's online. No, it's not free, but it's online. Then University of Helsinki, they offer AI literacy program. It's called the Elements of AI. That is free. Then NHS UK is also integrating AI tools into hospital pharmacy services even and training their staff accordingly. So we're just now, up till now, we have been talking about training of undergrad students. But what about the people who are already serving in different fields? So their training as a staff training with AI embedded training is also very important. So one of the another thing that many institutions are doing is micro credentialing. What is micro credentialing? It is, I discussed it earlier as well. It is a badging mechanism. So short, focused AI literacy programs, workshops, discussions. These may include writing or clinical use, understanding AI models, prompting, evaluating ethical dilemmas, not only in human setting, but in digital systems as well. So these can all be integrated in our undergrad curriculum in the nation building stream, right? And then they can also be offered to faculty and the staff working in the hospital, the pharmacist working in a clinical setup as small modules, projects, workshops, and they not only align them with the national priorities but also the institutional needs and also enhances the institutional capacity in turn, right? So what I wanted to emphasize in this global best practice slide was that we do not need to wait for a policy change by the government or a regulator or a accreditation change. These innovations, these are all modular innovations. These are all scalable. They are usually co-curricular activities, so we need to incorporate them in our daily professional lives. And global leaders are already piloting these changes. So why can't we do it? So we should do that as well. So I just given you a few examples of it as well. So thoughts. I'll leave you with some food for thought that you need to reflect with your own self. What really excites you about integrating AI in your work? What might worry you, right? So, how would you look ahead? What do you need from your institution, from your peers, from your dean, from your head of department to make AI adoption more sustainable? Do you need training? Do you need peer support? Do you need clarity in terms of a policy of an institution? So whatever there is, we all need to evolve and all need to adapt to the needs of each other as well. So you might have noted that this slide is textured with a lot of shades of gray. So this basically represents the variety and complexity of data and variables that the AI response is dependent upon. AI always looks at data sets, na? So it's we, the professionals, who need to develop critical skills, not only for ourselves, but for the students as well, to decide what shade fits the best in their context, not just trust what the AI or the algorithm tells them, right? So, having said that, one concern that I often receive from my faculty whenever I talk about AI is that won't a student become over dependent on AI? And my answer to them is always that only if we don't teach them how to question it. So that's where we come in as educators. So first we need to adopt ourselves, learn these things, and then we need to teach them using these tools. So this is the last conclusive slide. I'd like to close this with leaving you with a simple message. And I'll take this message from my first slide that you don't need to wait for a full curriculum overall or a policy directive to begin. You can start integrating AI today in small steps and large steps, depending upon your capacity, but in meaningful ways, in responsible ways, in ethical ways. So you can begin small, you can use ChatGPT to explain a concept, you can generate a few pictures, you can generate a few practice questions, or you can support reflective writing, right? And second thing is that you need to collaborate. It's not a one-man show. You need to have small peer groups. You need to collaborate within the faculty, within and across the disciplines, even with the clinical pharmacists that are working in clinical and hospital settings, educators, data scientists, even working in the computer science sort of fields, and co-create tools together. That becomes very interesting and a very amazing concept. Then you need to learn more. You need to keep on learning. There are a lot of MOOCs available. I just mentioned a few from Stanford Medicine and University of Helsinki. Some are free, some are paid. Coursera now offers a lot of MOOCs on building your capacity on AI tools. Should have a look at that. We have a Coursera subscription in Shifa as well. And yeah, we need to keep on learning. So these are accessible to both faculty and student. And most importantly, be critical. Our job as a teacher, as a faculty, isn't just to use AI. It's to shape how it's used, right? It responsibly, ethically, inclusively, and effectively, right? That's how we make our pharmacy graduates future ready and practice ready, and we don't just turn them into tech savvy otherwise. So this is all about it. I'm really sorry I went 10 minutes ahead, but thank you so much for joining this session in such high numbers. And I trust you learned something today. And I look forward to seeing you, observing you, and hearing how you can take these ideas forward in your own institution and in your own setups. So I'll end with a quote which is adopted from Malcolm X. He was a influential African American human rights activist. And in the early 90s, he said, and I quote, "The future belongs to those who prepare for it today." And in education, that means understanding not just the science, but the intelligence guiding it as well. Okay, so with that, I thank you everyone for joining me, and over to Hamza.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your valuable insights with us. And now we would like to ask for any question from the audience. You can write in chat box if you have any question regarding this session. Sir, here is a question. Use of AI is helpful, but the risk of limited use of books will be increased. ये इस डर को सर हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को बता दें कि ये डर कैसे खत्म हो।
ये क्वेश्चन जरा आप रिपीट करेंगे, मुझे नहीं नजर आ रहा चैट में कहीं।
सर एक स्टूडेंट का क्वेश्चन है कि एआई जो है वो बुक्स को रिप्लेस कर देगा।
अच्छा, देखें, इसमें ऐसे है कि बुक्स जो हैं वो तो आई थिंक विद द डिजिटल एवोल्यूशन, स्पेशली विद यूट्यूब and other online teaching instruction modalities and this mobile phone, books have already been or are being made obsolete, which is very bad, which is also evident from the workspace and the trends in libraries if you go and look around. So मेरे हिसाब से एक जो एक 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 अपॉर्चुनिटी है, एक जगह है काम करने की, वो libraries should evolve themselves as well, according to, and libraries should have evolved themselves when this digitalization of content was being done. So how many libraries are there that you know of who issue digital books? ठीक है, मसला एआई के साथ नहीं है, मसला जो है वो डिजिटलाइजेशन ऑफ एवरीथिंग है। आज हर बच्चे के पास, हर टीचर के पास बुक सॉफ्ट फॉर्म में मौजूद होती है, आइदर इट इज फ्रॉम अ पायरेटेड सोर्स और इट इज फ्रॉम अ authentic source. But the point is that reading a book on a mobile phone, that is one thing, or a tablet or a iPad, वो कम हो गया है. How many libraries are there who have adopted it? Because of this lack of adoption or slow progress of adoption, to me, the digital evolution has also limited the books as a scarce resource. Secondly, AI कभी भी बुक को रिप्लेस नहीं करेगी। उसकी वजह ये है कि AI and the tools, especially the tool Perplexity, perplexity.ai, I would encourage you to go and try it. It critiques you through different concepts while giving you references from different books and from different published content. That is very good, and it even opens those pages and published articles and highlights them, that where it got that content, and the student ends up reading that page or reading that part and correlating it. So this is when I was talking about responsible use and critical. The student should be able to analyze कि ये जो response दे रहा है ये ठीक भी है कि नहीं है. सो वो कुछ बहुत सारे टूल्स ऐसे हैं जो बुक्स को रेफरेंस कर रहे होते हैं. तो बुक्स माइट नॉट डाई. एंड thirdly, एक और बात जो मेरे जहन में अभी इस सवाल से आई, whoever did this question is very pertinent and a good question. ओवर टाइम चीजें चेंज होंगी, ठीक है. सो ये उसी तरह है कि जिसने बल्ब इजाद किया उसने कहा होगा कि अब जो हैं एलईडीज आ गई हैं और एलईडी बल्ब्स आ गए हैं और फिलामेंट बल्ब्स गायब होते जा रहे हैं, एसएमडीज आ गई हैं, तो इस बल्ब का क्या होगा. सो जिन कंपनीज ने उस टेक्नोलॉजी को अडॉप्ट किया तो वो चल रहे हैं. बल्ब का काम रोशनी देना है, रोशनी आज भी हमें आ रही है. बुक का काम नॉलेज देना है, वो नॉलेज का मीडियम चेंज हो सकता है. इट कैन शिफ्ट फ्रॉम हार्ड बाउंड बुक to a mobile phone to an AI एआई कहाँ से आपको जवाब देता है? एआई रीड्स बुक्स, एआई रीड्स डेटा सेट्स एंड देन रिप्लाइज टू यू। सो लाइफ में जैसे जैसे मॉडर्नाइजेशन के साथ तरक्की होती है, तो चीज़ों को आसान बनाने की कोशिश की जाती है। सो चीज़ें आसान बनती हैं। सो आई थिंक दिस इज टू enhance, टू ease the students and faculty. It cannot just replace it. It will simply change form. Book जो है would change form from a hardbound book to a data set that an AI as a tool can read and respond to you accordingly.
Thank you, sir. It has been an enlightening session, and we truly appreciate your time and expertise. Kindly make sure to fill out the feedback form that will be shared shortly. Your feedback is important to us and helps improve future sessions. Participation certificates will be emailed to all the attendees, but please note that this may take more than 2 weeks, so we kindly request your patience. Once again, thank you all for joining us today and for active participation. With that, we conclude our session. Allah Hafiz and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz, everyone.